We'll move forward to this other piece of news, too, to touch on. I had to mention this in some capacity. I didn't expect this news to come out this afternoon, but here we are. When it launched on April 6th, the streaming service Quibi wanted to predicate itself off of short, bite-sized 10-minute episodes to shows as opposed to 30 and 60 minutes. Well, they made do on their promise of keeping things short because Quibi's about to fold barely 6 months after launching in April. This wasn't a cheap venture either. They spent over $1 billion with a B dollars commissioning original content. Yeah. That equates to about 8,500 short form episodes over 175 shows. So this was absolutely not a cheap venture by any stretch of the imagination. And the other detail about this app, because none of us had it. None of us used Quibi, really. We knew of its existence. We didn't use it, though. The selling point or the gimmick, I guess you want to say, behind this app was that you could watch it. It was encouraged to watch on your phone because you could view it in 16:9 typical horizontal aspect ratio, or you watch the show vertically in 9:16 aspect ratio. So it went with the auto rotation on your phone. You could view it like at both different, aspect ratios simultaneously if you so desired. The big problem I think with Quibi was that I think there were two big problems. One, it really didn't seem like there were any marquee shows. The only show I really know of hearing a lot about was a show called Free Ray Sean with Stefan James from If Beale Street Could Talk. That was about the only show that I heard about semi-regularly. And I think the other problem is that this was an app that you had to sign up to use at all. It was $5 a month for no ads, or it was $8 a month. It was $8 a month with no ads, $5 a month with ads. That's how the pricing worked. There was no real free trial for any extended period of time. And if you're not going to be on like Roku or Amazon or that, you're just going to be on your phone, well, you're going to be competing with YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, hours upon hours of free entertainment available at your fingertips. And this did not go over well at all, to the fact that 6 months in, Jeffrey Katzenberg, the co-founder of the app, wanted to try to get it acquired by a larger conglomerate such as Apple or Warner Media, but ultimately Quibi is no more, as confirmed by the Wall Street Journal today. Before I toss it over to Dominic for his thoughts, because I'm sure he has some, I got to end with David Ehrlich, who tweeted just before the show started. I love what David Ehrlich says. He says, "Congratulations to Quibi for being the virtual boy of streaming platforms." Because that's exactly what this thing was. It's going to be gone. It's going to be gone and probably forgotten. But it's an interesting experiment. But good God, I did not expect it to be $1 billion venture. Dom, what say you about Quibi's demise?
My homie, Jeffrey Katzenberg. Did you say Katzenberger? Because if you did,
I almost did. I cut myself off.
For the record, I have been so tempted to do that too so many times, just because it's like ingrained in my brain for some reason. I think I just grew up thinking that was it. But anyway, yeah, this is just a classic case of trying to force old media into new media or a new format, which is the format known as, while something's loading on streaming, you pull out your phone and do something for like 2 minutes and then you put it back away, or or whatever. And it's like, what you're like, the reason why TikTok works, as much as I don't like it and as much as I think it's stupid, but it freaking works because it's effective, is because it plays to that specific medium, which is just people doing specifically short form videos of just things that can be consumed in 2 seconds, right, or 3 seconds, or a minute at most. That's kind of, it's like Vine. It's like the successor to Vine, similar to how Snapchat was to a degree, and just trying to force actual shows like 24. I think you could funny enough, you could watch an episode of 24 in 5-minute chunks, which was ridiculous, right? You're killing the pacing. No one does this, and it was doomed from the very beginning. that when the 3-month trial dried up, it's no surprise. I love this last paragraph from the original report, which is that a report from the app tracking firm Sensor Tower back in July claimed that Quibi lost over 90% of its subscribers after the initial 3-month trial ran out, with just 72,000 of its roughly 910,000 users who had signed up at launch sticking around as paid customers. Quibi has refuted those numbers. Jeffrey over here refutes those numbers, claiming that they were incorrect by an order of magnitude, but it has never provided any actual subscriber counts of its own. So, I would have thought this would have been like a money laundering scheme, like just how ridiculous this idea was. But $1 billion, dude, it's like, did he? I would love like a documentary on this. I'm not joking. Like, did he really think this was going to work? Like, you can see right through it. It's astounding to me. I don't know, Joe, what'd you have on it?
I had really nothing on this one too much because I didn't have the app either, like you guys said.
Yeah.
It sucks that like it happened because there might be fans of people who really love the content that Quibi was probably putting out. I thought it was cool that they revived one of my favorite shows growing up as a kid on Comedy Central, Reno 911. I'm glad that it's cool they brought that back, and it sucks that it came and it went. But I find it interesting because it's like I don't think we've had really a streaming service like shut down yet, have we? Like a big one like this where like
I don't think so.
So I'm really wondering like, what happens to these shows? Are they just gone forever? No one can ever see them ever again? Are they available to buy?
The rights have got to be up for sale because
the rights totally, but like if
there's value there. There is absolutely value there.
But like, there's gonna be a show that nobody wants on Quibi that like is just never gonna be seen again by anybody. I'm wondering.
No, he's got a point.
Like, where does that go? Because like you'll see on somebody's IMDb page, you might be like, oh, I want to check this out. Like the 2 shows that won an Emmy. Like, I mean, I'm sure they'll get picked up by somebody since they won an Emmy.
What were they? What were those shows?
It's the one with
Dummy. Is it Dummy? The one with Anna Kendrick?
Yeah, I think it's that one. Hold on.
Yeah.
And
there's the Anna Kendrick one, yeah.
And then there's the Lawrence Fishburne show. I know got another Emmy. I think the one where he plays like a warden at a prison or something.
That's a fascinating point that Joe brings up, though, is that because now we're gradually moving closer to the day, and it's probably in the way this year's going, it's probably going to wind up being a topic on our show before the end of the year about how DVD is going to be discontinued. Lord knows, but like. We're heading towards the course of not having any real kind of home media, physical media in that sense. And Joe brings up an interesting point. We've also never had a streaming service be defunct.
Yeah.
Or just go away.
Because like YouTube Red, like you can still see that content on there because it's still on YouTube. It's just you don't have to pay for it anymore. And in shows like Cobra Kai got picked up by Netflix. But like this is a whole different story.
This is a whole different story, yeah, because, again, it didn't have that large of a subscriber base, and Lord knows there's probably one schmuck like me that really liked this one other show on Quibi that nobody watched, and it's going to be, like, livid unless you can find it on, like, the pirated sites. That's an interesting point you raised that I hadn't previously thought of.
Yeah, oh, and it is the Lawrence Fishburne show, which has Anton Fuqua producing it, #Free Rayshawn. That won an Emmy for the short form category. So it's and Lawrence Fishburne actually won an Emmy for his role on it. So I'm sure that one will get picked up, but there's so many others. Like the article I'm reading right now, like there's like so many other videos on here, so many other shows on here that people are like pleading to like #save this, #save this, like all these shows. So it sucks to see this happen to like people who truly love the content that they actually paid for.
At least they got something out of it, but we had to bring that up because we have been tackling a lot of stories about streaming services and whatnot. Mm-hmm. So when one bites the dust, I think it's pretty noteworthy. So I wanted to devote a little bit of time to that. So rest in peace, Quibi, a casualty of this year. And think about it. It launched in April and the website's still up, but probably not for much longer. You got to think this whole thing started gained a little traction and fell apart in the duration of this pandemic.
Yeah.
Think about that. Like this was definitely a pandemic, oddity over here.
The streaming service for the pandemic. Yeah. Which is funny because this would have probably best been served with people outside, out and about on their day, 5-minute intervals or whatever. But then the outside world was just canceled because by the Rona. So it's like this never had a chance to thrive. What little chance it had in this ridiculous format, it was dead in the water.